we have a new panelist joining us, Dr. PKD Nambiar, who is a political analyst, and let's hear from him about what he feels by the trends so far. BJP crossing the halfway mark in Uttar Pradesh. Too early to call it yet, but the exit polls seem to be hitting uh, on the right track as far as most of the states are concerned.
Absolutely. Aditi, I think it's a BJP wave. When you say the wave means it's not just only on UP. This election has also got some more significance because it's happening one in the Northeast, second is in the whether it is in Punjab and Goa. It's almost like a spread. So when an election is spread and a party which is winning in almost all the places, then it gives a clear indication of a mood of a nation. And I believe that this election is also going to be a defining moment. I'm not a person who's a great advocate of saying that it is the real going to be the benchmark for the next 2024 election. But a government coming back in most of these places means that our democracy has matured. People do not now democracy has matured means the electorate are really getting matured day by day. That people like all of us who are sitting in the TV panels do describe our electorate. Even in the last time when we were having a show that OB is voting this place, Muslims are voting for the other people this way and that way. That is completely now getting demolished. So the maturing a democracy, the electorate wanted to not going for the typical tutu meme politics. Beyond that, under what is development, those who are delivering results are given an opportunity to come back. So that's a very, very significant moment. And for UP, it is why it is you are from Lucknow. It's also more defining because it's the first time after so long and another chief minister is going to come back. So that will bring stability. That will the tag of a Bimaru state will now slowly move away from UP. It is already started, and I think in the next 5 years, UP can become the real role model for the rest of the state, rather than just considering that UP means bad, UP means crime, UP means bad for women, UP means bad in law and order. I think those things have been completely changed. Another thing that I remember in the 2017 when Yogi became the chief minister, there was a lot of hue and cry in the national media. People were discussing and debating that can a saffron-cladded Yogi can be a good administrator. So that means it's not the color of the clothes what one person wear is not the one which will be defining his quality of administration. Yogi has not now. I was telling you earlier that he has become a household name in UP, which after the Mayawati, no other leader, even including the great Kalyan Singh, could not have been. Even a Rajnath Singh ji could not. But today, Yogi is a strong, solid brand. But
do you think it's Yogi? But as I asked another panelist, PKD, do you think it's Yogi or do you think it's the popularity of PM Modi in Uttar Pradesh and the delivery of the central government schemes in terms of not just toilets but rations, help, direct money transfers? Is that sort of paying dividends?
So it is basically a combination of both. So what they have been talking about, the double engine government, it truly worked in the interest of the people. It is also worked in the interest of the BJP. So I won't say that, see, the credit for a victory, if it is put from the point of view of Yogi as the chief ministerial candidate, I would say more than 50% should be given it to him. Of course, the Modi is the tallest leader of the Bharatiya Janata Party, and he is the person who everybody looks up to. Of course, there is no doubt that the credit goes to him equally. And of course, BJP as a party, if you really understand it, it's an absolute cadre party from a booth president to the different prabharis. everybody work really hard, and to a great extent, some of the Swayamsevaks are on the ground. So the people who understand and follow BJP well understand that they don't work like a typically any other party. They have a very very strong machinery,
But
will
what's
work
the
to the
takeaway?
last mile.
What's the take? Sorry, what's the takeaway for Akhilesh Yadav in all of this? Because as I said, Akhilesh Yadav is from 47. If he's crossing the 100 mark, that's an amazing feat. I mean, so the buzz about Akhilesh Yadav and Jayant Chaudhary was not entirely wrong, right?
He is equally a winner. Let me tell you this. So the UP, as I was just telling you, UP is going. It's a defining moment for UP. The reason being, it's becoming now from a four-party contest to a bipolar, and that is only one opposition, and it's two-party contest in UP. So there is no Mayawati anymore, not anymore a significant player. Most of the other small players will also becoming further insignificant, and whereas a strong opposition, which is the most important part thing in a democracy, is coming up in UP. That is again good for the people. So somebody is there to question and challenge, and he is taking from his 40 seats to. And please understand, in 2017, when he was even then, even though even he was the chief minister, he was still under the clout of his father and the chacha, all of those people in the cloud. And this time around, except the RLD, he was on his own, and so he played a major. He did it extremely good for himself. But of course, he can. I was very clear from the day one that he cannot become a chief minister again in UP because he will be too far away. But even though
But
his
he is going
performance
to
needs to
be
give the
a
full credit.
very but he is going to become a credible opposition in Uttar Pradesh, something that nationally the country is lacking.
Absolutely. So I think the significance of Akhilesh Yadav as a leader, he has gone up. Today he is on his own. As I said, like unlike the older times, he is not anymore in the shadow of his father or his chacha, or no, even of his bua. So now today, Akhilesh Yadav stands as a tall leader on his own merit. So I think UP will also have a very, very strong opposition, which is also in the interest of the people of UP. Please note one thing you need to understand: the beauty of this time around in the governance all across the country. Aditi, you need to take this up. Wherever the governments are able to reach to the common man, and the governance is reached to the people directly, as you said, the direct money transfer or the ration reaching to those people, or the infrastructure development, which they can see the visible development. One is the development is happening passively here and there, but second is that you are able to see that there are airports are getting made. You are seeing that there are highways are getting made. You are seeing that there are new aims, and there are new hospitals are getting built. You are also experiencing your gas connection is reaching your home. You are experiencing the governance in from the form of a ration, free ration is coming to your place. So
So you're saying
for
that
the first,
Nambiar,
yeah, I think Aditi, we must give all the credits to Kejriwal and his team for this absolutely stunning victory. But it is not just the victory of it. So when I say this, people should not be thinking that yeah, we don't want to give the credit to somebody. When a BJP, you are giving all the credit, but you don't want to give the credit to Aam Aadmi Party. See, the Punjab, as we were discussing last time also, there is a slight different kind of a trend this time around. People were not having any confidence, whether it is on Akali or in they were tired, or in Congress they were simply tired of both the parties. They never wanted to. It's not for the Arvind Kejriwal. It is not for Aam Aadmi Party. The entire this vote shift. It is more than that. They were fed up with Congress and Akali Dal, and BJP was very insignificant. And BJP just did some kind of BJP is doing a little better than what it was in the past. But even though it came into that existence in the poll, it was on the very, very later part. So this is also going to be a defining moment. The reason being a national alternative. In fact, a few days ago, I written an article that can Mamta or can or the Dravidian party like a DMK or a KCR, can they be everybody wanted to be a prime ministerial candidate from the last 5 6 months. But I think Arvind Kejriwal being in Delhi and going to another state, none of the other parties were able to make this as a success to going into another state No regional party was able to be doing that. So he, from typically a regional party, from a Delhi-based, city-based party, getting Punjab is definitely going to make a lot of changes. And he's a very aggressive and a very shrewd, crude politician. So he's a master politician. I would say that beyond any comparison with any other people. So you can expect a lot happening from Aam Aadmi Party. But one thing I will tell you, full state governing and a city state governing here in Delhi, governing is just like more of like a very little for a state government can do. But in a state like Punjab, which is a very complex state, which is already going through a lot of challenges. So governance is not like it's already Delhi is a surplus state with budget. You have enough money to spend. You only have to have the will to spend. But in Punjab, even paying salary or the bills is even a tough. So it's not like that. That typically that 6,000 rupees I will transfer to every woman. All those kind of freebies which were promised, it may be very challenging for any
Very
government.
challenging, and which is exactly what Navneet was pointing out when we spoke earlier. Navneet, so clearly it's an up wave all along. What we are seeing, of course, is Aam Aadmi Party easily crossing the halfway mark, and now getting there. That's what the trends show. Again, let me just put the caveat there that these are trends. If they hold, it's a fantastic, spectacular victory for the Aam Aadmi Party. How they're going to deliver is a different matter, because they have promised a lot of freebies, as you were pointing out earlier, and whether or not they will be able to do it within the exchequer. But so far,
Aditi, can I just make one statement quickly? One statement.
sure, sure.
Yeah, I'll just tell you one more very interesting part in Punjab. Most of the VIPs, most of the VIPs are trailing, whether it is Sidhu
Which
to
is
Channi
exactly what
to
I was going to come to Navneet with. If you could share with us.
everybody is trailing. So this
The
actually
VIPs, there's no
VIPs
star,
are
there
over,
is no star candidate in
correct,
Punjab anymore. From
including
Amrinder
Amrinder Singh,
Singh, yes,
including
from
Amrinder.
Amrinder
So one
Singh
thing
in
you need to understand,
Patiala,
correct. So this
apart,
is
except
precisely.
except except the Aam Aadmi Party chief ministerial candidate,
Yeah,
except
so
him,
he's anyhow a
most,
new face for it. So I'll tell you why
yes.
this is important. This is what I was telling, that the people of Punjab was really tired of these existing politicians. They were not voting for an Aam Aadmi Party or a Kejriwal, but they just wanted to get out of this VIP culture, and that's the reflection. Please go on. More and more weaker means there is no credible national opposition against Mr. Modi. So that is very sad, but then that is the reality. Congress further becoming weaker also means that the regional parties will thrive. Maybe well, a party like an Aam Aadmi Party, it will take a long time because it's just a 7 or 8 year old party. So it will take a long time for a party to become a stable and having a strong national presence, maybe a 3 decades or a 2 decades in the later in these kind of a situation. So it requires a lot of time more to be a credible national opposition for an Aam Aadmi Party. And Congress losing in almost all the places means they are also out of it. The regional parties and the regional parties, like whether it is a KCR or a Stalin or a Mamta or Sharad Pawar and etc., their national aspiration will become more and more, but then they will also not be able to be a credible national opposition. See, in other way, in all things are going towards that one-sided election in 2024, and Mr. Modi becoming more and more popular. The one thing you need to always understand, if you have a strong leadership, even जैसे कहते हैं ना हमारे घर पे भी अगर आप father if it is a very strong, you will forget about a lot of small mistakes and minors which we have. The same way as today as a country we have a strong leader at the helm of affairs. So a lot of most of these anti-incumbency which we say that yaar wo nahi hai, ye nahi hai, and people are not just voting for an MLA or an MP today. People are voting primarily for a larger leader through these routes. So this is again becoming a very big change in our democratic way of electing. And people
Hmm.
also are changing that. If they are uh, one thing you need to understand, BJP, there is an internal mechanism which was never there in the Congress or in many other parties. Internal mechanism to check the each and every leader and their performances. So that's a very, it's like a corporate sector wherein your role and your performance is being monitored, and there is a performance
Hmm.
appraisal is being made every year. The same way in BJP, whether it is for an MLA, for an MP, or for that matter to chief minister, to a political leader, these performance appraisal is clearly defined. Plus they also have more of like a retirement age. So in other words, when a party which is systematically working, they have been talking about the governance, what do you call, the development, if that is also reaching to the people to an extent, people wanted to have continuity. People are not interested in changing the government, and they don't
Okay.
want to do another experience. So
Okay.
I think
People want
this is how.
continuity unless they are very unhappy. They do
Very
not want
unhappy,
change.
absolutely.
Again, that pro incumbency trend that we are seeing